The 23rd of August 2025 marked the International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition, a day dedicated to honoring the victims and reflecting on the legacy of slavery. UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed stressed that modern slavery persists and therefore the fight is not over. Her words served as a call to action, urging governments and societies to confront ongoing exploitation and strengthen efforts to protect human dignity. Human Rights Watch reported that the Rwandan-controlled M23 armed group summarily executed over 140 civilians across at least 14 villages and farming communities in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in July 2025. These civilians are largely ethnic Hutus, and witness testimonies describe mass shootings, machete attacks, and executions near the Rutshuru River. Both HRW and the UN have called for international accountability and access for forensic investigations. The atrocities, some of the worst since M23's resurgence, underscore the fragility of peace efforts in Eastern DRC and reinforce urgent calls for justice and civilian protections. In its latest briefing paper, Human Rights Watch reported the Russian authorities have continued and expanded harsh authoritarian practices, targeting activists, branding more individuals and organizations as undesirable and foreign agents, repressing anti-war expression, penalizing LGBT movements, and silencing independent reporters and writers. HRW emphasized that renewing the Special Rapporteur on Russia's mandate is essential to ensure independent monitoring and enable the UN to respond robustly to escalating human rights violations against peaceful critics. The mandate also provides a vital channel of engagement and support for Russian human rights defenders, activists, and civil society organizations who are increasingly isolated from international backing. At the 60th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva from 8th of September 2025 to the 8th of October 2025, the OHCHR will present its report on Sri Lanka, and the Council will consider reviewing the OHCHR mandates in the country. Human Rights Watch stressed that in the years since President Anura Kumara Dissanayake took office, there has been no progress on core issues including arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, rape and sexual violence, enforced disappearances, torture, and indiscriminate attacks on civilians, despite over 10 past commissions failing to deliver accountability. High Commissioner Volker Turk, during his June 25 visit, warned of the impunity trap and cautioned that the absence of justice threatens the stability of peace. Amnesty International condemned the execution of Jalalabad by Saudi authorities on the 21st of August 2025 for crimes allegedly committed when he was under 18, stressing that the death penalty for juvenile offenders is prohibited under international and customary international law. Amnesty highlighted that Labad was denied legal representation during pre-trial detention, reported being tortured into confessing, and yet the court has failed to investigate these claims, while also calling on Saudi authorities to release his body and those of other executed. Labad, arrested in connection with 2011-2012 Shia minority protests, was among 5 young men whose detention the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention deemed arbitrary, all of whom were under 18 at the time of the alleged offences. On the 14th of August 2025, Singaporean President Tharman Shanmugaratnam granted the first clemency on the death penalty case since 1998, a rare and welcome move. Yet this came just after the government announced its third execution in 3 weeks, all for drug-related offences. Amnesty International and allied organizations have urged Singapore to impose an immediate moratorium on executions, commute all existing death sentences, and take concrete steps towards full abolition of the death penalty. Finally, Georgian actor Andrew Shishinadze has been detained since December 2024, accused of throwing an object at police and charged with group violence during pro-European protests. Amnesty International reports that his hearings have been plagued by fair trial violations and that the charges appear politically motivated. The organization calls for his detention to be reviewed and for him to either receive a fair trial or be immediately released.